Good morning, Rio Grande Center for Spiritual Living. So good to see you all today. I'm going to start with the announcements. Thank you for taking some time to check any devices you may have and appropriately silence them. If anyone's joining online, this is a different morning for me. I'm not home alone in my robe and coffee watching. But I understand, I get it. But welcome to you and welcome to everyone here in the center. If you're joining online, you can click closed captions if you need assistance. My name is Lou Similori. My pronouns are he and him, and I'm so grateful for each one joining us today, again, whether online or in the building. Together we are transforming our world with the power of love and action. I also want to take a moment to honor the many folks who are Love in Action today, supporting our celebration this morning. Our musical inspiration is Susan Clark. Our tech team, Sue and Cheryl. Our greeter, Doug. Our food angels, and the Spirit Bound bookstore staff, to name just a few. We also have licensed spiritual practitioners serving us today and holding the service in consciousness and prayer. Nancy will anchor us in our opening prayer, leading our vision and mission statements, and sharing the readings for the day. And Nancy, again, will offer our inspirational message for this day.
Oh, you will.
Oh, yeah. Now it's time for a few brief announcements. The Abundance Project book study is designed to elevate prosperity consciousness. It's offered twice a week, Monday evenings in person from 7 to 7:30, and Thursday mornings from 8:30 to 9. It's just getting underway, so you can still join in. I know, yes, Gil?
We also have more books in the bookstore.
And there's also more books available in the bookstore. Yeah, excellent, excellent. This is a free class, a free study group. The only fee is purchasing the book, and the book is available here in the bookstore. I also wanted to say a little bit about the Solid Ground Coffee House. It's sort of a thing. And we've got a real core group that's supporting our team there. And it is, again, love in action. There's no fee to come. It's completely open. There's delicious coffee and tasty snacks and good fellowship, wonderful music. And please, every Friday morning except July 5th, because, July 4th is the day before. So not this Friday, but every Friday therefore. There are volunteer opportunities available in the bookstore, gift shop, and also with Solid Ground.
So it's Friday evening, and the doors open at 6:30. Music starts at 7, and we will not be here, as Lou said, this coming Friday. But July 12th, we have Daniel Bowling coming, and Daniel is kind of a local icon who is now playing with a group called the Limelighters and doing a lot of fun things. So come out and see Daniel on July 12th.
I'd like to send loving blessings to Pat Justice, whose mom left our earthly realm this week, and also to Susan Clark, the anniversary of her son's death a few years ago. And thank you for the quality of your listening.
And so I breathe into this moment, this now, recognizing that now is all that there ever is, and that this now, as every now, is anchored in spirit, that the truth of who and what we are is the divine expressing. And I take this moment to remember that God is pure, total, unconditional love, and that we are that. I remember that God is peace incarnate, that joy, unending joy, deep compassion, so much goodness, all goodness. I remember that truth, and I remember that the truth of who and what God is the truth of who and what I am. That I am the divine expressing, that I came here to express that love, that joy, that peace, that compassion, that kindness. And that I remember that just as I am the divine expressing, that everyone is the divine expressing, that we are all that holy essence. We are all sacred. And I remember that it's up to me to recognize that sacredness. It's up to me to notice that love is always expressing. And I know that what is true for me is true for everyone. For the truth is that we are all connected. We can't be separate. We may think of ourselves as separate, but the truth is that I couldn't be here without all the other people in the world. That each of us is dependent on one another, and that therefore, what we came here to do is to be the love that God would have us know that we are. And so I take this moment, this morning, this time together to remind everyone who can hear my voice that it's all good. That God is everywhere present in every moment. And the truth of the matter is that all we have to do is know who we are. Express that love. Express that joy. Be that love that we want to see in the world. And so I know that this service is perfect just as it is. That it reminds us of the truth of who and what we are and what we came here to be. And that the beauty of being in community is that when we forget the truth of who we are, there are people all around us to bring us back to that center, that divine core that wants to express. And so we answer all calls for love with love. And we know that this time together is just as it should be. And that we can just celebrate it as it is. For God is everywhere present. And I anchor this awareness by saying, and so it is. Amen. Oh, no, we have some music, right?
Good morning. If you please stand, and we're going to wake up together. And we're going to do actually this is a meditative, contemplative type of song, but you can still get energized with that type of mood, I think. I decided to do all my own original music today because to be in step with Lou and Mark, who are doing their original poetry and prose today. So these are all my songs today. And I don't do them very often, but they're up here. Anyway, we'll have some lyrics on the screen, I think. It's just called Mind Is All There Is. Mind is all there is. I'll just vamp here for a minute and give Sue a chance to figure out the mysteries of the universe. Looky there. Okay. Mind is all there is. There is only mind. What I choose to think shows up every time. I am careful with my thoughts, for they will shape my dreams. There is only mind. Mind is all there is. Mind is all there is. There is only mind. What I choose to think shows up every time. I am careful with my thoughts, for they will move my hands. There is only mind. Mind is all there is. Mind is all there is. There is only mind. What I choose to think shows up every time. I am careful with my thoughts, for they will guide my steps. There is only mind. Mind is all there is. Mind is all there is. There is only mind. What I choose to think shows up every time. I am careful with my thoughts, for they will change my world. There is only mind. Mind is all there is. There is only mind. Mind is all there is. Mind is all there is. Mind is all there is. But there's also heart, and there's also soul, and that creative force that flows through us all. Thank you.
Well, good morning. My name is Mark Ayers, and I serve as very thrilled to serve as our board president. And Lou and I are going to be pinch hitting for Reverend Gill, who's hopefully not soaked out in a wet tent this morning with that storm that went through last night. So here at the Rio Grande CSL, we're anchored in the principles of science of mind and new thought, ageless wisdom. The good news is that what we teach can be distilled down to 4 basic concepts. The first is we believe there's only one power in the universe that is known by many names. Secondly, we believe that thought is creative, so we take care of what's on our mind. Oh, wow, that's very timely, Sue. And keep going back to the spiritual truth that there is only one power. We don't blame ourselves or beat ourselves up for our thoughts that don't serve us. We simply replace them with thoughts that affirm our lives. Thirdly, we believe that everything in our life is either an expression of love or a call for love. No exceptions. You're supposed to repeat that part. No exception. That was a little weak. No exception. All right, I said, okay, you're warming up. That's good. And finally, we believe that each one of us is whole, perfect, and complete, just as we are. While there may be some thoughts and or behaviors that we want to let go of, there's nothing that we need to add.
So with that, we are so grateful that you've chosen to be part of today's celebration, in person or online. This time is special because of you. We want to especially welcome those who are here for the first or second time. We are grateful for you. And for those of us joining us this morning for the first time online, we're grateful for you too. Help us connect with you. Go in the chat. Tell us you're here. And after service, please visit our greeters for a welcome bag and a flower. And if you feel comfortable, we'd love you to stand if you're first or second time here. But if you don't feel comfortable standing, that's okay too. We're all going to reach out our hands, and we're simply going to bless one another. So if you could please repeat after me. We see you. We know who you really are. You are a unique emanation of spirit. We love you. We appreciate you. And we thank God for you. Welcome to Rio Grande. Okay, so now it is time for our vision and mission statement. And hopefully we get it up there. Because, even though we should all know it by now, sometimes we forget. So, our vision, transforming our world with the power of love in action. And our mission is loving all creation through spiritual growth and service, always staying true to our highest self. So I've chosen a couple of readings here for you this morning, and hopefully I can find them. The first one comes from Julia Cameron's Prayers to the Great Spirit or Creator, something like that. Anyway, this is she has prayers in the back of the book that are God speaking to us. And they're very beautiful, and I read them when I get off center and I need to get back to center. You long for a more spiritual life, but you tell yourself that it is too difficult. You pretend I am distant and hard to reach. You pretend I make harsh terms with you. Stop your pretending. Do not believe in God as told to you by authorities. Come to me on your terms instead. Simply say hello, and our conversation can begin. I want to walk with you as friends walk. I want us to be casual and intimate. I want us to share secrets. I will begin with the secret of mine. I love you. I have loved you since the beginning of time. I have always seen myself as coming to join you. I am ready to listen to your heart. Please begin to talk with me. You can start anywhere with your joys or with your sorrows. I have ears for every part of you. You say you do not know where to begin. I say to you, quit stalling. Start with good morning. And it is a good morning any day that you make contact with me. Ask me to shape your day. to touch your consciousness with the recognition of possibility. All things are good and can be made anew. I am the water you long to drink. I am the food you hunger for. I am the full meal that nourishes you and nurtures you. Let us break bread. And I have a second little reading here, if I can get this Kindle to turn on. And this is from the Abundance Project that is in our bookstore, and that you would be very wise to join us in studying on either Monday evenings or Thursday mornings, Monday at 7 p.m., Thursday morning at 8:30 a.m. And this is from Derek Rydell, the Abundance Project, and he says, when we really know that the source of all creation is our consciousness, we start to live in consciousness more than appearances. And there, we begin to find the substance of real fulfillment, because that's the only place it can be found. This world is just a canvas upon which we are painting with the colors of our soul, a screen upon which we are projecting the story in our heart. The world can't give us anything except feedback, a reflection of where we are in consciousness, and an opportunity to express ourselves. Likewise, it can't take anything away. Remember, it's all within us. Okay, so I believe that it's time for Susan to have more music. Yay! Yay!
So I just wanted to give Gilbert in the bookstore a plug. I was a little chilly when I came in this morning, so I borrowed this from the bookstore. Still has a price tag on it, just kind of like Minnie Pearl and the Hats, if you're old enough to remember that. But I will be returning this to the gift store when I'm finished with it, slightly used. So there you go. There's your plug, Gil. Okay. Well, these songs I'm going to do today are very precious to me, and I actually wrote them for myself. Writing is a form of therapy for me. And if they happen to go out in the world and touch somebody else, then that's a wonderful thing. This is called All the Ways of Love, and it will be on a recording project that will be released next year.
All the ways of
ways of love, all the ways of love, all the ways of love, of love, all the ways of love, all the ways of love, all the ways of love. There are many ways we love, but I fear you never learned to love yourself. Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping, Brother John? Morning bells are ringing. Morning bells are ringing. Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping, Brother John? Morning bells are ringing. Welcome home. So come and lay your head down on my shoulder. Let me show you all the ways of love.
I really like that song. That was awesome, Susan. Thank you so very much. Okay, so I have the pleasure of announcing our speakers this morning. So we have with us two people, board people, former board person, who are going to be allowing you to hear what spirit sounds like when it actually is allowed to just flow through us. First, we have up Mark. Well, maybe not first, but maybe we do have first. I don't know. Yes, first. Okay, first we have Mark. And he has recently, I can talk, he recently published his first collection of poetry entitled Holding My Head a Little Higher. Mark is an emerging poet. Do we have your book in the bookstore?
I gotta talk to you.
No. He's going to talk to Gil so we can get it in the bookstore, because that'd be awesome. And then we also have Lou Similori. That's Mark Ayers, our board president, in case you didn't get that. Lou Similori, who is a past board president or just on the board?
Just on the board here.
Okay, but he was. Okay. And anyways, this is a quote from Lou. He says, "I make my way through life with as much grace, kindness, and compassion that I'm able to bring forth. Poetry has come to me late in life. The simple fact that it has come to me at all from time to time is a blessing for which I'm truly grateful." So I would like you all to give a very warm welcome to our pinch hitters today. First up, Mark Ayers, and then Lou Similori. Yeah.
So today's theme is colorful to the core. And there was a little reading that went along with it, and it says, "We each have our own unique signature like no one else's. The world would not be the same without each of us. We all belong here to make this world as special," it doesn't say here this part, but as vibrant as it is. So Lou and I are going to take turns sharing poems. We're going to essentially let the poems speak for themselves, maybe a little commentary, but mostly we're going to let the poems speak for themselves, related to the topic of colorful to the core. So here's a truth I know about each and every one of us, and that is that inside of us we have a source, a beauty, a resonance, a vibration to be able to share with other people. Before I came to New Thought Movement, I wasn't as aware of that as I am today. And it was something that was there and was trying to get out. But yeah, I was maybe afraid of it, didn't think it might be real. It is real. It really is real. And so this is a poem I wrote about that voice within me. It's called, Is It Mine? Occasionally, I sense a spaciousness in me like an immense theater. From the stage, though there is no microphone, I hear a tiny voice, vague at first, unrecognizable, then growing in volume, gaining clarity and swelling with truth. You can do it, it says. Though this voice of mine is unfamiliar, I choose to sing along.
My first poem, our theme for today involves being our each unique individual self, and honoring that, and loving that, and being a part of, and expressing it. So our poems today are going to share some of that. This first poem that I'm going to read is one of the very first poems I wrote. The seed was formed through notes I took while listening to Martha's Sunday service. Listened to the notes, and then later on, it was a prompt to write this. Be you. Walk out of the door, raining down on your soul. You know the answer, the thing that makes you whole. The time for fear, sadness, and worry are gone. The newness of today is reborn. Wipe away despair and doubt. Move past the fear and anger that comes from louts. It's you that you're about. The simple truth of your being. It's time for you to let out. Thank you.
So in our journey to let that voice out, to let our color shine, sometimes we encounter a few obstacles. And so this poem is about one that came from an unexpected source. At the end of the poem, you'll find out who it is. It's called Love You But. Why do you have to tell anyone? Why can't you just keep it to yourself? Well, because when I came out, you responded, I love you, but you're going to hell. Because like having blue eyes, used to be blonde hair, and being right-handed, it's part of who I am. Because growing up, I flirted. Not with girls, certainly not with boys, but with suicide and depression. Because some of the teenagers I teach grow up thinking they're worthless, undeserving of love. Because everyone at work keeps a picture of their spouse on their desk, and I can't because it might offend someone's sensibility. Because every Monday morning, colleagues used to ask me, "What'd you do this weekend?" And I'd stammer, Nothing. Even though I just returned from New York Pride and had finally met Mr. Right for the 14th time. Or had sat by a friend's bedside as he lay dying in a hospice. Because if I had a partner, I might have one, but if I had a partner and we met after work in a public place, I'd like to kiss him on the cheek and whisper, "I love you," without fear or intimidation. Because, Dad, I know you're not going to change. And I love you, and I love myself.
Now that I've retired, I have lots of jobs. I only had one before, and they paid me. But I'm in the fortunate place that I can just do whatever I want. I don't have to worry about the money that's involved with what I do for work. It doesn't make any difference. So I do whatever I feel like it, when I feel like it, with some limitations, of course. So one of my jobs, and I really want to put a plug in for Solid Ground Coffee House again, brings me joy. It feeds so many things. It feeds so many, it's a way for people to connect, to get more involved, to experience beautiful, beautiful music, and to be with friends. And there's also coffee involved. Another job that I have is as a museum docent. And this poem is about, it talks a little bit about one of my experiences in that job. The first tour of the season, we made a loose plan. Gathering now outside on a golden fall morning, we move slowly toward the process of lining up and forming into groups. One of my docent sisters is missing, still inside. I gestured back to the front entrance, to our leader. "You want me to look for her? Would you?" My missing comrade and I find each other. We meet and rush outside together. In our absence, I think some tour alteration has occurred, but I don't know what it is. Groups have formed, some are moving forward, suddenly confused by what we're doing. I stand now with a group of parents and children, suddenly confused by what we're doing. States of confusion find me from time to time these days. It doesn't bother me. But it's not a good look for a museum docent. It appears we're next to move forward, but the road forward is blocked by the group in front of us dawdling. Direct action is needed. We need to move forward. The troops are restless. Things are progressing well now. I point in the opposite direction from all the other groups, and it's been a good tour so far. Then the wrong word springs from my lips, similar to the correct one, but not exactly so. A correction is issued from one of the parents. A smile comes from me, a soft laugh, no foolish defensiveness, simply acknowledging the misplaced word. My fallibility, my humanness created a moment. Any gulf between us has been bridged. We're in a state of flow now. I feel moved and free to go to an unplanned spot. We leave the settler story, the statues of La Jornada, to one of my favorite spots, Nora Naranjo's garden. Not necessarily for tours, but one of my favorite spots. Later, we rejoin the group, moving through our stations inside the art gallery. The students are engaged, all seem delighted with the art that's flown our way. But it's time to move on, away from art to the history galleries. I know you've enjoyed the art, but it's time to move into history. Trust me, you're going to love it too. A small voice behind me chimes in as I move toward the entrance. I trust you. My heart melts as I look back on my charges following me to the door. These students are not my grandchildren. Their parents are not my children. But in this moment, it feels that way. We move on after the history gallery to an art activity. Leaning down next to a young boy and answering questions about completing the art activity, I feel the camera of his mother capturing us. We both look up briefly, then continue. I hope all the souls of my group were fed today, I think silently. I know mine was.
So as I said in the first poem, there's that voice inside of us. And sometimes we just need to step out of the way and let it emerge. Thank you, Susan. Hopefully that's better. Is that better, Susan? Okay. And then sometimes we have some voices in our lives that are not as supportive of us as we want them to be. And sometimes we just need to listen to our own voice. But one of the really cool things that helps us in terms of being colorful to the core is the people we choose to surround ourselves with. And so I had this amazing, once my dad and my mom, they both had the same response. We love you, but you're going to go to hell. I can't reconcile that in my own mind, but it's all good. So what I did is I went out and I found other people in my life who got it and who got me. And through their eyes, I was able to see what could be. So my kind of adopted dad, his name was Jim. He died last year. He made it to the ripe old age of 94. And I read this at his celebration of life. It's called The Difference a Jim Makes, in memory of Jim Janassi, 1928 to 2023. When I meet a man I've never met before and he greets me, "Welcome. We love and accept you just as you are," and tears come to my eyes. It's the difference a Jim makes. When I attend meetings of parents and friends of lesbians and gays for months and learn I'm not an abomination or disgrace, it's the difference a Jim makes. When I fear applying as an openly gay educator and am supported in displaying courage, it's the difference a Jim makes. When I learn meaningful change can be achieved by visiting state houses and putting a human face to a legislative issue, it's the difference a Jim makes. When I want to create a family of choice and am anxious about what other people will think, but I'm encouraged to follow my dreams, it's the difference a Jim makes. When each of my 6 sons finds a new grandfather who remembers all the small details and genuinely loves them, it's the difference a Jim makes. When I've known and loved a man for more than 34 years and realized that I'm a better man because of that relationship, it's the difference a Jim makes. when I see misunderstanding, homophobia, violence. And I know a source of hope, a promise things will change. It's the difference a gym makes.
So, for my last poem, well, before we get there, as we roll through life, things happen. All of us have experiences that change us in many ways. Sometimes good experiences, sometimes different experiences, sometimes what are called bad ones. I had an experience that did change my life in the fall of 2019. I had a stroke. And I woke up the next morning at UNM Hospital, and I look at the clock on the wall, and it was gibberish. The numbers didn't mean anything. I couldn't read. I couldn't write. All that was gone. And it's gotten better. I can do some of those things now, a little better than I did before. Definitely better than that morning. So this is a poem about how my brain works now, and that's the title. How my brain works now. I spring into words now. I jump into the middle of the word. What an odd thing. A kind of dyslexia, I think, the way my mind works now as opposed to before. Or is it an evolution? How can it be an evolution if it doesn't work as well as before? Silly question. Evolution can be back as well as forward. Well, maybe not. That may not be what evolution actually means. Maybe it's devolution. And what am I doing to think these things don't work in a circular rather than a linear fashion? Sometimes I just need to warm up a bit. Rest. There it goes again. E is not the first letter in rest. And looking at the line, the word rest doesn't fit, but does now with a little tweaking. I'm so very grateful it works as well as it does. It didn't work at all when my mind first broke. No sense of number, no sense of time, math, or numbers. I never was really good at that time and numbers thing, but I had some sense of them. And I do again now. So very thankful for that. The written word was also lost for me, both in composing and comprehension. There it goes again. The first letter of and isn't N. But they're back, comprehension and composing, sort of anyway. Spelling doesn't work like it once did, nor memory, but memory works, just differently now. I've always been broken. Now it's in a new way. Like a peach tree, pruned, cut to take a new structure, to be formed into a new shape, to grow larger, more delicious fruit. I'm broken in a different way now, in a new form. Better or worse? What a question. just different. It feels better to me, though, and that feels good. Thank you. Thank you for your listening.
It's our prayer time. So I am going to ask all of the practitioners and ministers to surround the room to support me in this moment, because this isn't my usual job. And then we're going to go into prayer. So in this moment, I recognize the divine expressing. Recognizing that this is what we're here for, that we are here to express our colorfulness, that we are here to reveal the truth of who we are to all those we encounter, knowing that when God is in us and we listen to that voice rather than the tiny, timid one that's so scared. When we listen to God's voice, we have the confidence, we have the strength, we have the power to be anything we want to be, to express to the fullest of our ability that something that we can't even name completely, that's just dying to come out and be revealed and to show the world how awesome we really are. And so in this moment, I affirm that every person who can hear my voice steps fully and completely into the person God intends them to be, the person they want to be, not something that they think they should be, not something that society tells them they're supposed to be, but fully into the truth of who each of us is. And so I know that this service has informed each person who hears it just a little more fully, allowing them the courage to be that which they came here to be. That each of us is that divine expression, and that's what we're meant to do. And it's meant to bring us joy. It's meant to bring us peace. It's meant to express the love that innately is within each of us. And so I know that this time together is perfect. And I'm so grateful for the time that we have shared. I'm so grateful for Mark and for Lou, and for their demonstration of what it is to allow Spirit to come through us fully and completely, to say that which wants to be said. And so I'm grateful that each person here who hears my voice can step into that knowingness of who they are, what they came here to be, who they came here to be, and unabashedly expressing that. I'm grateful because I know that it's always in divine right order, that God is always with us, in us, through us, around us, supporting us in each and every moment. And so at this time, I invite all of us to anchor this by saying, and so it is. Amen. All right. So, I do believe that it is now our sharing of abundance, right? Yeah, we don't have music in between. That's after. All right, so it's time for our abundance. So we are going to do our, oh, wait a minute. I've got a little board minute that's supposed to happen here first. So here's Mark.
It's going to be real quick. We've been communicating with you weekly because our finances have been that, and we know people don't want to hear about that all the time, but as the board president and the board has been committed to doing that. So here's what we want you to know. End of June was tough. We are going to make it, barely. We've had to really stretch and do all that. We're looking at it from a place of prosperity. And a really quick little story. I'm at the point in my relationship where I want to further my relationship, spend more time with my mi novia. And I asked my landlord if I could have him over once in a while. And he said he wasn't really comfortable with that. Now, some people might say, well, you don't have to tell him. I'm just sensitive to, comfortability and compatibility around all that stuff. So I decided, well, I'm going to have to move and get another place so that we can share that time. And so I gave him my notice on a Saturday. Next day, he calls me. And it's because I'm in a duplex. I'm downstairs, he's upstairs. So he called me and he said, you know that mobile home that's on the property, that's on the front of the property? The couple that's living there is moving. How about if you take that? And I was like, wow, I like that. I got a nice mountain view out in Placitas, and it's really quiet out there. We have horses, wild horses. I don't want to give up any of that. And so the really cool piece is I just let it go, and it came back to me. So here's the truth I know, because we're seeing this through a lens of prosperity. This is the last summer that we're going to be having to do this and keep you informed of what's happening. Why? This place is rocking and rolling. I was here Friday night. Oh, my God. In case, we haven't promoted Solid Grounds enough tonight. By the way, Lou's the one who makes the coffee. That's why you heard so much about coffee today. So, and it's good coffee, very good coffee. So here's the thing. There's a couple things you can do. If you've got a little extra and can help us out, because we've had to move a couple of our expenses a little later in July. It's going to work out. If you have a little extra, throw it our way. We'll say thank you. Secondly, if you do automatic giving and all that kind of stuff, just make sure. A lot of people on vacations, you can see by what's going on here. So just remember to continue to do that. And please come to the Prosperity Consciousness thing that we're doing on Monday nights at 7 and Thursday mornings at 8:30, okay? But again, as I said, this is the last summer we're going to be doing this, and we're excited about that. And again, we're seeing this from a place of prosperity and abundance at our growth.
Thank you. So now it's time for our offering of abundance. So for those of us joining us online, there are multiple ways to give your offerings and donations. They should be scrolling across the bottom of the screen. I don't see them, but let's see. And for those of you present in the center, you are welcome to approach the podium as Susan does her music, and after we do our affirmation of abundance. And let me just say that everybody's offerings are important. And I'm going to plug the Abundance Project once more, because the one thing that comes from reading that is that you recognize that it's never been out there. It's always been in here. And so it really is about recognizing that and coming from that place of prosperity consciousness instead of that place of noticing what's missing. Because when we notice what's missing, guess what? We get more missing. So if you want to be prosperous, you have to step into that consciousness that recognizes that you already have everything that you need. You already are everything that you need to be. And so I'm just going to invite you once again to join us on Monday evening or Thursday morning. And right now, we're going to say our affirmation of abundance. So if you could just join with me in speaking it. I am abundant, and I give from my abundance. I am prosperous, and I give from my prosperity. I am blessed, and I give from my blessings. My blessings of spirit are as abundant as the stars, and so I give and receive generously. And so it is. Baskets are up here.
In the silence, I am asking what it is that I can do to become a vessel to release my highest good. I am not asking for treasure. I am listening for a higher voice. In the silence, I hear it whisper that I always have a choice. When I ask the right questions, they are more than likely to lead to making the right decisions, to become a better me. Am I acting from humanity, or am I listening for a higher voice? In the silence, I hear it whisper that I always have a choice. Am I asking the right questions? Am I traveling toward the light? Am I acting out of faith, or letting fear rule the night? Does this choice empower me, or does it leave me weak? In the silence, I hear it whisper that I am the change I seek. In the silence, I hear it whisper that I always have a choice.
Thank you, Susan. That was awesome. Now we get to bless the offering. Since I'm not mic'd up, I have to come over here. So, thank you, sweet Spirit, for all the generous offerings that we've received today. I recognize in this place that we have all that we need simply by asking. And so in this moment, Spirit, I ask that you take care of each and every one of us, that we all recognize the abundance that we are swimming in, for God is always generous. So knowing that this is whatever we need, that God always provides, I call this good and very good. And I ask you to join me in blessing this by saying, and so it is. Amen. So people, we are coming to the end of our service, and it has been a joy to celebrate this time with you. And I would like to remind you that we have a prayer garden set up, and that our practitioners, of which I am one, although I don't have my stole on today, I don't know why, but our practitioners are happy to pray for you, because praying for you is praying for us. And that every time that we put that goodness out into the world, that it blesses the world. And so I invite you to come join us there. Also, and join us in the social hall. We have lots of goodies back there. I don't know what exactly is back there today, but I know there's always coffee and treats. And that's the social hall's right through the kitchen there. And yeah, I think it's time for our closing song.
I think you're right.
Thank you so very much, Susan.
Please stand. We're going to go out with this song of mine that I actually wrote for a practitioners conference quite some time ago. So practitioners, this one speaks to you, and it speaks to everybody, I think. Here we go. Bloom where you are planted, go where you are needed. Never doubt your purpose in this world filled with woe. What we say does matter, what we know will show others who no longer see the light within their souls. We have the power, we have the vision, we have a gift that God has given. Bloom where you are planted, go where you are needed. Know that you are blessed as you fill the world with hope. I think that's too low for me, so we're gonna raise it up a little bit. Here we go. There are none so blind as those who cannot see the light of God that shines within throughout eternity. If you cannot see that light within yourself, we are here to help you with the wisdom in our hearts. We seek the truth, we hold the space until it can be seen by the seeker. Bloom where you are planted, go where you are needed. Know that you are blessed as you fill the world with hope. Happy Sunday. I think we have an affirmation.
Our affirmation: the word on the street is that you're whole, perfect, and complete.